Aloha, Dan McDonald here. 3 ways to lose weight fast. Check this out. I got the juicer here. What do I got? I got pineapple, cucumber, coconut, mint, lime, and cilantro. Perfectly balanced. Sweet, neutral, non-sweet, with the herbs and the sour to pull it right out of you once you loosen it up. I'm going to juice the pineapple first, and then we are going to wrap. So let me tell you a little bit about the 3 steps to losing weight very rapidly. There's a lot going on, and there's a reason why obesity and every chronic disease across the board is shooting into the stratosphere at an unprecedented rate. But with the proper education and understanding of, number 1, human biology and physiology, and number 2, what's happening around you in your local environment, i.e. The social institutions and their always not so beneficial modes of operation. How about that for as politically correct as you can say it? In fact, you know what? Okay, we'll get off topic really quickly, but basically right now what I've learned from being on Kauai for the last 2 years and having a lot more time to do research and practice is that I've found a complete, utter, and total blackout on anything that is truthful at all as it regards to media, healthcare, even the internet. We get more truth slipping through the cracks on the internet. That's why the consciousness is evolving and people are waking up, albeit in my opinion quite slowly. But patience is a virtue, I suppose. So, in other words, everything that is BS, fallacious, worthless, and impractical is the politically correct status quo respectability. And a quicker way to say it is, if they are a quack or a conspiracy nut, those are the people you want to listen to, because those are the key words for this person is on to something real. And this isn't just happening in the 2000s. This isn't just happening in the 20th century. This isn't just happening in the 18th century. This goes back to the dawn of mankind. And it goes back to fear, basically. Fear of losing control, not having enough, whatever. It does not stem from love, because love and truth are synonymous. Lies and deceit and fear are the tool of the dark side, Luke. So, I do have a lot of compassion and understanding, and I've had to be trained by the Most High to have more patience and understanding, because I can look and see the washing of the brains has been continuous and unending for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it's getting particularly sophisticated. So when you hear people parroting the same old slogans over and over again, you don't really need to get mad at them. They were just told what to think as it relates to, all the different inimical practices that are going on in society today that are making us fat, sick, and nearly dead. And then, of course, at the end, gasping for breath with no money totally strung out on drugs without any of your vital organs left. Sorry for being sarcastic, but then again, I may actually just be onto something here, folks. So you'll have to bear with my approach here. I've learned recently that it may not be the absolute best to just come out and say it, because there is a lot going on in our society today. And isn't it funny how the truth tellers always end up on a cross, and then it takes us 2,000 or 3,000 years later to figure out, oh, that dude was onto something. So we will probably continue to crucify those who are at the cutting edge of awareness, because not only do we have the availability of the access of the internet, which is helpful because some truth slips through the cracks. They're doing a very good job at making sure that the real stuff doesn't get into your hands, so that you're not made aware of what's actually happening all around you in your society. And it's doing a lot of damage to our children. It's doing a lot of damage to us. And this goes way, way back. Way, way, way back. These things aren't new. It's just that now the onslaught is so intense with the inimical substances that find their way into our air, our soil, our water, our food, and in other ways being, what's the key word here for the political correctness of it all? Introduced into our temple. And so if we had a fully functioning temple as it relates to, in the Eastern tradition, our chakras, and in the Western tradition, our endocrine glands. If those glands are functioning at an optimum level, what you'll find is that you are much more difficult to control. And you really don't need that much. As you get cleaner and purer on this lifestyle, and as you return to natural ways of living and alleviate the body burden of the inimical substances of which we are swimming in a sea of. Now here's the interesting thing, and I'll try to do my best to share some information with you very soon, probably on the Insiders Club, about how you can protect yourself from the ocean of, again, inimical substances. I have found a way, a lifestyle, through awareness and practice of how to avoid, I'm estimating at this time, at the present level of awareness that I'm at, about an 85 to 90% reduction in the introduction of these inimical substances into my personal life. You know, I drive down the road and I'm very aware that the car in front of me is releasing soot. And I'm also aware that although this particular island that I'm on is not inoculated with the sprays at a very high level, it's very, very rare that you'll actually see a stream across the sky. But the island right over across the way and downwind does have a little bit more of the weather modification taking place, if that's in fact what it is. So we do get a little bit of the off spray from that. But within my local environment, I've found a way through diet lifestyle and awareness to eliminate, again, inimical substances. They're being slathered on our skin. They're being, all over the place. My tinfoil hat's a little tight. But what I'm doing here right now is speaking in code. Because this will confuse those who are not quite all the way there at the cutting edge of awareness, and those who are available to absorb this type of understanding. It will be a gentle and friendly reminder to be very aware of what you're putting on your skin, what you're putting in your body, the air that you're breathing, the environments that you're in, what kind of electrical meters or towers that you have around your house. Because you got to remember, I get so many emails about everything, so I look into all these things, and I've been researching all this stuff for 20 years. And it's really good to be in the know, because what that can do is then you don't have to be obese, and you don't have to have chronic debilitating diseases. And your glands can function by the relinquishment through the deep tissue detoxification of the inimical substances that are acting as antagonists to your own internal healthy biochemicals. Yes, you want your own biochemicals, melatonin, serotonin, dopamine. Those are the, main three that we're all aware of, but there are hundreds of thousands of biochemicals. Now, we can either live that life of fear or we can live that life of love again. But if these inimical substances are being introduced into your body temple, again, you will see that they are antagonists to the biochemical processes that you need in order to be healthy, happy, and highly functioning human being. And although there's a lot of wishful thinking out there, I am, fortunately for myself, I believe, a die-hard pragmatist. Not necessarily a scientist, because I've realized that in today's day and age, 98% of all science has been bought and paid for. The results are already decided before the experiment even begins. This is where a lot of people are having trouble seeing through that. So if I wanted to sell you something that I knew was poisonous and I had a lot of money, I could pay scientists to create some experiments in a laboratory that would prove that this unsafe thing that I know it to be unsafe was actually safe. And then I would pump your brain so full of that BS that eventually you would be so brainwashed that you would parrot that which I told you. This dangerous thing is safe. This dangerous thing is safe. This dangerous toxic thing is safe. Even though I know that it isn't. And those who do less thinking for themselves and allow the institutions to do their thinking for them are the ones who are unfortunately the major victims in that game. So thankfully, I was a smartass all my life and a hardhead, and I didn't really want to listen to anybody. But thank God, because what I found out is that as an old soul is what it is. I have a very old soul. I don't really buy into the whole programming of my brain very easily. I like to question things. Does that resonate with me on all the various levels? So there's certain things that resonate with me on all of the levels. You know, intuitive, mentally, emotionally. What happens when I think of that in my heart? You know, what does my intuition say? And am I sensitive enough because I'm free of the inimical substances which destroy intuition? And what does my cognitive left and right brain, bouncing that back and forth through contemplation, tell me? For example, for me personally, and what I like to teach is, you know, live foods. Live foods, fruits and vegetables, fruits hanging off the tree, vegetables on the vine, vegetables out of the ground. That resonates with me. Eating that way resonates with me on every single level. So I go and I live by that. But if there's these other things out there that are these things that I learned from preschool, elementary, in church, from the social institutions that are, you know, lobbying or, you know, in our government or whatever, and they're trying to convince me of something, I think to myself, what level does it resonate at? Most of it doesn't resonate at any level at all, and I can see right through it, and that's why I say it's BS, and that's why I say that there's a total blackout on truth. I didn't really think that way a year or two ago, but now as I look more, as it's like, oh, there's been tons of people that have been, you know, healed of cancer. Can't use the C word, but there's been thousands and thousands of people that have been healed of cancer. Why didn't we go to those clinicians and say, hey, what are these herbs you're using to get a 90% success rate? But they don't do that. They go, you're going to have to leave the country, or you're going to go to prison. We're going to take all your research and burn it. You are a quack. You have to get out. You're costing us. Back then, it was billions. We don't even see it anymore because everyone knows that you have to stay on the underground. You have to stay on the underground in order to be able to help anyone with those issues. Otherwise, you know that those guys that were actually making progress, because here's what I've found out, is that everybody that produces results as far as health goes are, you know, number one, they're called a quack. They're totally disfellowshipped. They are, you know, total smear campaign of their research and data. And why is that? Because it goes against the plan at all the various levels. Everyone sees this is some cool stuff, man. Praise the Lord. I prayed for some whatever, and this is what it is. So everybody sees it at a various levels. Some people can see it more as a spiritual battle between the light and the dark. Other people see it as you know, a thing where it's more like population control. Other people see it as like it's all about the money. And then there's people down here that are thoroughly convinced that everything that we're doing on the scientific level, at the levels of the government, at the levels of planetary, at the levels of health organizations, etc. I'm speaking all in code throughout this entire video. Just because, and there's a reason for that, you know? It's cool, like I didn't really say anything and no one's gonna listen to me anyway, so that's cool, right? Although the wisest among you will understand what I'm saying, and you will pick up on the awareness of the guy that you call Life Regenerator, who has had to seek and find the truth for himself for very personal reasons. You know, not to go up here and be a know-it-all, not to make money, but very personal, private reasons of, I need my own glands and my own brain to work. So what was it that was happening in the 70s and prior to that, really, because you track back all the way to grandma and you start putting together the puzzle pieces, and then you realize that you can help all these different people with all these different conditions that are arising because it's coming from the same thing. And the main thing is that they, not we, they, whoever they are, tinfoil hat, has to, you cannot know. That's the thing. You cannot know the truth. I know it sounds nuts, but this is what I've seen. This is all that I've been able to see recently as I dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, because I started researching certain things when my daughters were born 20 years ago, and I asked my ex-wife, please, don't do it. So what that was it was like, okay, just a couple, the ones that we think we need. And now there are obviously, things have arisen due to that. But thankfully it wasn't the whole thing, all of it, like they're doing nowadays. The full-on blast, because there's no responsibility being taken. So that's when it began to really blast off once in 1986, when that became law, that there's no more accountability, then we could just get blasted. And that's why we're seeing every disease rate skyrocket. And then the things that we aren't even aware of that are much more subtle energetic currents. And so you put the whole puzzle piece together, and then you realize, well, that's why people are obese. That's why these cases of autoimmune are going through the roof. That's why, and all the other things that I kind of don't really, see, it's like I can't even help myself. I'm trying not to draw attention to myself. I don't even know if I'll put this video up, because it's better just to say, eat your fruits and vegetables, and that's enough, because, this is my job and stuff like that. But I'm also very passionate because, it's sad what's going on, man. And these are my human brothers and sisters. And if they had the knowledge, that would be amazing. But you don't learn this stuff in college. So I don't give a crap about people's titles with their little letters by their name, because it doesn't mean diddly squat. All it means is that you were filled with fallacious material that doesn't even work. For example, the medical doctors these days aren't even trained in the diseases that are starting to arise and explode. They're dealing with things that are 20, 30 years old. So when you go in to see your MD, he hasn't got a freaking clue. So they can give you more drugs and they can cut your vital organs out, but you need your vital organs. And you don't want drugs. No drugs is the best. When you have just sunshine and fresh air and pure water, and your blood is just zipping through your blood vessels, bringing fresh oxygen and the love vibration from your heart deep into those recesses in your brain, in your heart, I could tell you all about what's going on and why everything is happening, and very simple biochemical understanding of why we're seeing these rates of everything skyrocketing. And it's all the exact same thing with a different point of location. So depending upon where the saturation has taken place, that's the title of the disease that you're given. But there's only one dis-ease, and there's only one way to heal it, since we can't use the C word. Okay? And so this goes beyond the brainwashing that we've all experienced, because it's supposed to be so complicated and so confusing and a big mystery. Listen to me, man. If a little dude like me with a Google PhD can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. If they want to, with all their heart and all their soul and all their might. If you seek, you will find the truth. And then you will be able to protect yourself and your family and be part of the new generation of humanity which is rising up at this point. It's the regenerated humanity, strengthened by an alignment with the laws of nature. Okay? So if you got juice, what did I start out as a, there we go, alignment with the laws of nature to strengthen the human organism, because you never hear about that. That's why I know it's all bull crap, is because if they really wanted to, they would have been feeding us organic vegetables and fruits in elementary school and not that pile of you know what, which was disgusting slop that we were all raised on in school. No wonder we all didn't do too well. And why because we had the sugar machines and all that. And we got trails and trails that we could go down, rabbit trails we could go down for forever. And I'm at 25 minutes, I get 33 minutes. I'm doing a video a day for the month of March for very practical and pragmatic reasons. I've got some coconuts here. I wanted to see what these were. This was a video on weight loss, but it went in, and it's all the same though. Doesn't matter what you've got. This was just a prerequisite to let you know where I'm at right now, and it goes deep. And I've got facts, and I've got answers. It's just like I'm just at a point, like right now I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way for me to approach this. Should I start a private club? I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. Do you know what I mean? I live in paradise. I live with my best friend in the whole world. She's amazing and awesome. Tavis is here. We're hitting all the farmers markets. I, wake up at 6 in the morning and naked and go harvest bananas off the tree. And then I feed them to my little duckies. So I'm living this dream that I've had my entire life. And I don't really want to it's like I am there. You know what I mean? I'm there. It's like, it's a Live Foods household. I've wanted that for 17 years. I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to live in an Essene community? Well, I created that. I got my own vegetable garden. I'm learning about the soil and microbiology. I'm understanding microbiology in advanced ways of what's going on, like the reason why I totally avoid meat. And as soon as I start explaining that to people, the microbiologists are going to have to agree with me that the vegan way of life I don't even like that, because the vegans are eating so much genetically modified crap that they're not any better off than the paleos, and they think they are. But I will tell you, it's the vitalists, the naturists, the children of the light that are eating these coconuts that came right off the tree, man. You know? In fact, coconuts are one of the best foods because they're wild, unsprayed, hybridized, like pop. You could live off coconuts. I've done it for weeks at a time. It's the next level. You got everything you need. The perfect fat for the saturation of the tissues in the brain, and then the sugar from the water. The blood plasma is like jacked up, so your zeta potential goes high, and then that blood just starts blasting through all the mucus from all of the, what's the best way to say it? The occlusion. I like to call it microcapillary occlusion, which is basically the main disease of why blood's not getting to the children's brains, and their cognition isn't functioning, and people aren't able to feel love because the microcapillaries to even the watershed areas in the heart, mostly they refer to, neurosurgeons and neurologists talk about the watershed areas in the brain, and I've been given the downloads of the watershed areas of the heart, which are also associated with higher consciousness. So in other words, you want your blood to be clean, you don't want a lot of mucus and junk and slime. So everything I ever said back then was exactly what I say now, but with 100 times more certainty, because I've lived the life. I haven't worn shoes in 2 years. I rarely wear clothes, only when I make videos. It's kind of funny. It's the same thing as the last video. Haha. I'll probably wear this on the next one. Just to have some fun here, folks. But anyways, I'm going to do my little plug because I wanted to talk about some other stuff too, really quickly, and I have 1 minute to do it. So here's the 3 tips to lose weight. It only took you 30 minutes to get to the answer. And some people are pissed off, but the smart people have loved every second of this video and totally dig where I'm coming from, and you're excited about the next generation of Life Regenerators. So here you go. If you want to lose weight, rapidly. Here's what you do. You drink 32 ounces of green juice every day. You blast the enzymes with that. That'll accelerate the cleansing process, and then to regenerate your gut from all the dysbiosis from the antibiotics and the pesticides and the genetically modified foods, which are blowing everybody's microflora way the hell out of whack. To regenerate that, you're creating a nice platform for the microorganisms, which I call true biotics, that grow out here on the green plants and on the fruits and in the air that's fresh and in the ocean and the lakes and in the grass, because you're going to be bare feet as much as you possibly can to reconnect to Mother Earth, and that's going to help you get grounded and alleviate a lot of the radiation in your body, which leads to every kind of problem you can imagine. I see everybody getting worse and worse. So anyways, we'll go into that at another time, but I got to get going. The last thing, so juice, enzymes in the morning, probiotics at night. I'll explain that more in depth later if you want to know why. It's ingenious. And then rebounding. Those three things right there, if you do those every day, if you do green juice, enzymes and probiotics, I think we'll count that as one thing, because those are like the dynamic duo. And then the rebounding, those are the three things. 20 minutes a day is cool. 30 minutes a day is really moving forward. If you bounce for an hour a day, every single aspect of your life will change, and in about 2 or 3 weeks, no one will even recognize you. Thank you very much. Dan McDonald. This program can literally lose a pound a day. It's happened to every single person that comes here. Every single person that's come here since we've lived here has came here and literally lost at least 1 pound or more every single day, even the people that weren't that overweight to begin with. So here's the Epic Juice, enough for all three of us. And thank you very much. Dan McDonald, 1 video a day in the month of March. It's a commitment to that. So aloha, thank you for very much. Everything, cool to be out, nice. Hey bro, let's see. There he is. You're on camera.